Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. Auzubillah shaitan rajim. May God protect us from the cursed one and unnecessary ignorance. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds. Rabbi Firli, my Lord, forgive me for all the sins I'm conscious and unconscious. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. May God guide us to the correct path. So, in the presence of God and man, in the presence of Creator and creation, and all that there is, I ask God for forgiveness for the ego I may present you. Yes, yes, I hate humanity, but I love it more. And I wanted to speak about how our world is fucked up, but incredible. You know, in this episode, I cannot ignore the chaos I have seen about human existence. And so the protocol of my mind is that, oh, human, among the human species on Earth, can you notice the better ways everything can happen? In this life, I can't catch my rhythm with the song. Okay. Why would a human being come and say, I hate humanity but love it more? What can make a human being hate where they are, hate what they are, and what is hate actually? It is no surprise that the human brain generates models on reality, and those models become expectations of what how it imagines reality, how it considers reality to happen. We as human beings, we formulate states of mind. That means the human being is in the game of generating states of mind. You're actually every day regenerating your state of mind. But I fundamentally find that a human being must acknowledge its limitations. It doesn't matter if I was like born, as a human, if I was born as, let's say, I don't know, a lion, or I don't know, if I was born as like an eagle or whatever, right? It doesn't matter. It is all about whatever you are, quickly coming to terms with its limitations and wonder about the greater value proposition that is present in the world. We human beings extract our value from our experiences. Do you understand? And at the same time, sometimes the way we mold ourselves isn't accurate. The way I have come to explain it, I guess, in a way that is, I can share the imagery. It is like the soul is sculpting the mind the experience of, excuse me, it's like the soul is sculpting the mind's experience of the body every day. Like a sculptor, I can notice aspects of me leaving and new aspects entering. Okay, and so we as human beings are aware that we are changing. We cannot ignore that reality is not a perfect noun. It is an incomplete verb. It will be incomplete by the nature of us accepting we are small. You see, ladies and gentlemen, as you are a human being compared to other creatures lesser than you, other animals on this planet, you have an incredible ability to be aware that you are aware. Creatures are not aware they are aware. They're not even aware that they are mortal, but you are. This awareness gives you an ability to see more than the actual physical moment. Even right now, this is why I don't consider I'm a physical being only, because I am being influenced by that which is abstract, by that which is not now. So, what I'm trying to say is that human beings are generating states of mind. They do this by having their intelligence forge models to reality, and in some sense in front of our eyes, yes, like that's an object, that person is an object, that other person is an object, I'm an object. Okay, but behind our eyes these subjects come to life. Excuse me, these subjects come to life. And so the question is not am I alive, it is how am I alive. And so as a human being, to use myself as an example, I think one smart thing I'm doing is that I'm being a human being and talking about it. And the human experience isn't pleasant, and the mind gets forged by the various intensities and the flames of change. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in a world that you probably will go on to have human interaction. Among the humans that interact with you, not all of them will align to your value system. And it is important to consider that when it comes to even relationships, you cannot first go into a relationship with someone who does not have the same values as you, but also someone who does not see you. The problem of humanity is that there is an inner life, there is a way we are alive behind our eyes, and it is trying to make its way outside. Every act of human expression is in some sense showing something. Nothing is hidden when you look at it closely. And to look at the nature of man, it is the nature of subjects not aligning to their environment. I was speaking to someone recently who, as someone like their parent figure, was treating them like was psychologically abusing them. And you cannot get angry when you see your species being defeated in any way. Do you understand? But at the same time, to be a human being is to be a complex organism, to ourself at least, and to, in some sense, go through shifts. This world is neither a beastly hell and it is neither an angelic heaven. And it is the expectations of man, that if they align, he coordinates to his reality. What that means is you're living on a planet, ladies and gentlemen, that there could be human beings that have, in the same way we have illnesses and we have sick people, there can be sickness of the mind. You're not just living in a physical world with physical weather, you're also being a psychological state in the psychological state of reality. In some sense, there is that what is going on in this world is that there could be people who biologically, they have issues with their brain. The movie Joker pointed this out to us. You understand? And there could be people who in some sense psychologically have issues, because what you are is in some sense the accumulation of the value you have extracted so far. And most people, they are actually valueless. And this might be like, you might think this is an arrogant statement, but let me tell you why. To truly have value in a changing world, there must be a superior ideal. Do you understand? That means you got to think of it this way, that it may rain one day, it may be, sunny one day, but when it rains, do I have my coat? And so man is in an era where he needs an umbrella to protect himself from rainfall. Similarly, as a human being in this world, we are not just influenced by physical reality. Every human being we have met has lived a hidden inner life, and they are a psychological entity with a value system to reality. Sometimes, there was a moment that came to my life. Let me tell you why. As much as I hate humanity, as much as that there is an emotion in me, like, why is everybody being so fucked up? You know what I mean? Like, aside from that emotion being in me, at the same time, there is an emotion. It's like my past self hates humanity, but my future self loves it because of what it can become. Do you understand? And so it takes a very advanced being to be able to care for something's future self. Technically, that's a symptom of love. That's a sign of love. When you love someone, it's as if, okay, you break my heart every day, but you matter. You matter just like my soul in a world that all matters. And so this lecture is really trying to tell the human species, you will have moments where you might want to even break, how do I say it? Like, the human being, the human mind is so advanced. Not only can you hate yourself, not only can you hate others, not only can you hate the world, but you can be even foolish enough to hate the system admin as well. But that is the point. The reality of hate is a burning one. It burns, but it does not burn externally. Your hate burns your future value. And so it's this bizarre situation where, yes, you got to consider that we were savages, that back in the day, people didn't have conversation. It was like, you disagree with me. Oh my God, look at this. There's a sword beside my belt. I'm going to kill you. And that was the reality of the past. And man, through the civility, through the development of laws, through the development of, like, hey, in this space, you can't behave that way. Man has for now been tamed. But what really needs to be tamed is the ego of man. What the ego of man is, what kind of character in a story are you being? And I am something that, I'll be honest, like, some part of my soul is deeply tired of this. You know, it's as if you look at this world, you see a species here temporarily, and you're like, what can it do? And your mind realizes, okay, it can just attempt the greatest, and that's it. It can just do the best it can until it is no longer capable. Do you know how many times I have not hated people? You can't really hate people because that hatred is coming from somewhere deep in yourself. It's as if, again, the past was savage, the present is acting civilized, the future will be civilized. Because what we as a species can gain from the expansion, it's as if, like, in my view, I'm like, just create a peaceful enough world so the next wave of geniuses can actually contribute. Let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, what is going on for the human species. The human species is an army, and it has been disconnected with its general. The general of the human army is not a person. It is an ideal. It is a value. It's as if, when I ask, yo man, my ancestors, how did they freaking live? How could they bear this world? How could they push through its intensity? And it dawned on me that they are living for the future. Do you understand? And so the way they have, Sun Tzu says in the Art of War, disconnect a general from their army and the other general wins. That's it. You just have to, in some sense, if the general is the mind of the army and the army is the body of the army, in some sense, disconnect, make the mind ignore its body, and you, in some sense, have defeated that entity, whether it's an army or whether it's an individual. So if humanity is an army and they have disconnected you from your general, what is this general they have disconnected you from? They have disconnected you from the future value and might of your species. Look in the mirror. You're not some spiritual being. You are not some like abstract entity. Look in the mirror and you will see your direct membership to the human species. And you are here to contribute to the human species. And every interaction you have with humans, pretty much it can be like, will they be lesser when they leave or will they be more? Do you understand? The world is immature, emotionally immature. The human species is emotionally immature. What that means is my emotions are more important than the world's emotions. My problems are more important than, in some sense, the world's problems. Wake up, humanity. They have made you think you're a nationalistic entity. So forget the speciesism. They have made you think that you are defined by your past. They have made you worship yourself as an incredible deception tactic. Holy shit, that is the most genius evil thing I've ever seen. It's as if like, yo, humans stopped worshiping idols. I got it, guys. Let's be more evil and make them worship themselves. Do you know who was that person? It was David Icke or something. Like, I fucking hate, I think conspiracy theory is bullshit, but anyways, because it's like, yo, man, add to your fear. What a dumb thing to do, you know? But I'm telling you this, that David Icke said that man is like a prisoner and the prison guard is himself. And do you know what that means? That's equivalent to your conditioning just being you your whole life. How dare you let who you were deny who you will be? How dare you see an evil person and think this world has to be evil? Evil is stupid. And let me explain why. It's not stupid in the way that it's like it can be, there could be evil geniuses. I'm saying it is stupid because evil what is cannot accept the value. It breaks things. Do you understand what I mean? That means some things in human civilization, they took a very long time to develop. And people, just by not liking it, just because of the era they were born in, they go oppose it. Evil is the intention to destroy, to break down. It's to not care and be able to have that laugh. Evil has this laugh where it's as if it's enjoying the warmth of a burning world, but wait until you get burnt. There was something I came to realize. It's not that order will go and readjust chaos. You got to think of it this way, that order has a smaller brother. There's like a smaller order and there's a bigger order. And I want you to, that means there's like an older brother, named order. And then there's a younger brother of order. And then there's an older brother of chaos. And there's a younger brother of chaos. Now, if the younger brothers fight, what I'm trying to tell you is that the older chaos will, in some sense, break the younger chaos. And the younger chaos will understand what its consequence. Same with human order. You are not here to, in some sense, if you were, let's say, the smaller brother does something, it's not that in some sense the greater chaos will come and destroy it. It is that the older brother, pretty much the older brother, makes the younger brother understand the intensity that it was ignorant of. That means a greater order will align the smaller order, a greater chaos will align the smaller chaos. But for me, I ask myself, why? Why is the world filled with beings that want to destroy and beings that want to build? And it came down to awareness. Evil is a lower awareness. Evil is equivalent to, I don't see it. Let me tell you what I think is evil. To notice something and ignore it. I think that is a type of evil. Okay? And I think that if If I don't come and say, yo, humanity, I see your greatness behind my eyes, but do you see it in front of your eyes? You see, it's the potential. That's the only reason. It's as if, why are you being a good Muslim? The potential to get it to a better place. So do not be surprised. You will hate humans in so many ways where you'll think you're creative. But you will realize that hatred belongs to a lower world. It's not that I'm saying do not love your enemy. It's kind of like, even if there was an army that came to defeat me in this, like, how do I say it, guys? I'm getting emotional here. Why? Because there was a person in history named Che Guevara. And Che Guevara's last words when he was pretty much getting assassinated by a ninja, tragic, he pretty much said, humans can die, but ideas cannot. It is the idea of the greater life that is moving us. We are not motivated by just what's in front of our eyes. We are motivated by what everything can become. And so, as much as I hate humanity, that means if in my mind I fathomed, you know, 8 billion unique forms of hatred for humans, it's like, it's as if like you hate one, but you love two. I care somehow for this world more than how my psychology convinces me to just not care. It's too important because it is our lives. It ends. Your time here ends. And so you must ask yourself, am I spending my lifetime being pessimistic about this random event? Not random, but this like spontaneous event. And so I ask, who would I be if I hated everyone? And who would I be if I cared for everyone? And to be honest, don't think I'm some perfected soul. I do have a selfish side, but in some sense, how do I say it? I hate my own inefficiency more than not more. It's as if it's like, as much as I hate the world, I cannot avoid how it's good too, how it can be good, how people can change. Like, I have a twin brother, okay? There's been days I've hated him. Okay, not like destructive hatred, but in a way where I stopped caring for him. But a part of me was like, no, as if my soul was educating my mind on how it was ignoring the importance of reality. My species, what is more important than the future species, the future of our species? So in some sense, it's as if, yes, I may hate the present, but I love the future. And I am conflicted, but the future wins. Because in the same way, we don't know how effed up the world can be, we don't know how incredible it can be. And it's not like I'm saying some people are not hopeless, or their hearts are homeless. You can find human beings and treat it like this. Every person you meet, imagine they have a box over their head. Imagine that. And imagine the person you have hated is a person with a box on their head. Some part of you's like, shit, this evil person doesn't know any better. This evil, this consciousness, which all consciousness is freaking neutral, okay, in some sense has convinced themselves that by breaking things they can fix themselves. No, by breaking things you just feel like you're more fixed than others, but you are not. You cannot lie to yourself. You can lie to anyone, but you cannot lie to yourself. What does that mean? Because you are seeing your hidden life. The hidden life cannot go there. Do you know? And this might sound bizarre because I'm like a human being like, I see all of you. I see all of you behind your eyes. I see that you every consciousness is hiding their inner life. And this world hasn't been designed to, in some sense, want everybody to care. You know, when I was younger, in my kind of self-exile of shyness and introversion, and nobody coming and waking me up for years, do you know? A part of me not hated everyone. It's as if, how could you have done this? How could you have seen me in some sense suffer but not care? But that was when I was emotionally immature, because I thought people are perfect and they should care for me. When you open your eyes and see how imperfect this world is, you will cry for as long as it takes until you suddenly, in some sense, laugh at your own tears. It's the God, it's the system. This is the design. This is it. There are, in some sense, vicious people and there are gentle people. The smart ones understand gentleness allows things to get built. Viciousness reacts. So, in some sense, the more emotional the entity, don't think you're a good person just because you have good emotions. I am telling you, it's all about your psyche and how you're valuing yourself. If you're someone who's like emotionally valuing yourself, you will turn into a demon if they come and change your emotional expectation of you. I am telling you, there is a shitload of people on this planet who think they're good, but they are not, and who feel they are good, but they are not. And there are shitload of people who on this planet feel they are evil, but they are not. We must care for the human species as if this geometry has nothing to do with good or bad. That means sometimes in life, sorry to say it to, the younger audiences, it's not that your emotions don't matter. It is not that your emotions don't give access to beautiful dimensions and states of mind. It is just that if you identify with an emotion, anytime that emotion goes away, you in some sense revert back to what you were hiding from. I do not ignore my chaos. I do not express it, but don't think behind my eyes, I am as civil as I am in front of my eyes. For me, I have filters. I treat myself like in the same way Elon Musk said, when you're starting a business, imagine it's going to fail, just reduce the percentage of failure. To me, I do not think I'm a good person, I'm a nice person, or I'm the best person. People may think that because I don't show that. Do you understand? But there are moments behind my eyes. This might sound strange. If somebody says, Mr. Within, how many times have you seen a version of yourself beat the shit out of another version of yourself behind your eyes when you've made mistakes? Many. Behind my eyes, I have slammed myself to walls. But it was myself, because I don't know why, since childhood, I was conditioned in a way where I do not think that my emotion is your responsibility. Do you understand? It is nobody's fucking responsibility how my eyes uniquely see my own emotions. At some point, you have to pick yourself up from what doesn't work and just see something else. That means, as I'm going to say this to even men, young men, don't think, young men and young women, don't think that something, because it's on the surface looks good, is good. Do not think that something just because on the surface it's beautiful is beautiful. Do not forget the devil, Shaitan, if he was in the form of Shaitan, Adam and Eve would be like, get out of here, you freak. You know what I mean? But instead, it came in the form of a serpent. So this is why, personally, I never date any woman who has a snake tattoo. Not just because of theological implication, is because they like the idea of a snake. And a snake is in some sense, its whole, a snake is like a ninja. It doesn't have honor. Plus, snakes are also terrifying. They can coil themselves up and like a spring jump like a couple meters in the air. It's fucking terrifying. But aside from that, like I'm telling you, in the future, like school trips to nature are all going to be in Iron Man suits or some sort of suit. Now, if you say, hey, hey, podcaster, I don't even like the word podcasting. What am I casting pods? It's like, what the fuck? You know, Now, let me tell you how this hatred can grow. You can start off by hating how something feels, and you can end up hating the macrocosm. But you must understand that the world doesn't know better because this is how far it's evolved. If you come into contact with a psychotic person, you know, we are not living in an advanced civilization that cares for the psyche of their minds, that cares for the minds of people. There's 100% like a percentage of the population that to themselves are all thinking they're good people and they're getting abused and taken advantage of by others, and they think, why is a good person is this happening? Because underneath you thinking you're a good person, there is something cruel. I've reached a point where I've realized it's a blessing to be able to consider yourself unknown. You know, I often think about not just what I deserve, but I think about what does my species deserve. And in my mind, there's this protocol that happens, this thing that happens where I say to myself, my logic is like, okay, do you know, humanity has an ability to build paradise on earth, or in some sense build hell on earth. The way my mind sees it is that, okay, imagine there's 8 billion human beings. I mean, not imagine, there are 8 billion human beings. I imagine there's 8 billion human beings, and I ask myself, if they were all fucked up, what, excuse my language, if they were all messed up and evil, what kind of world would it be? It would probably be a world that wouldn't last long, And I think about, okay, so ultimately, we not only have to care for ourselves, we not only have to care for the species, we not only have to care for the world, but we have to care for our whole moment of being. Forgiveness is like choosing what sort of state of mind do you want to give your future self. I believe firmly that you must be as sharp as an eagle in scanning every moment of your life, and you must also have an ability to lionize yourself. There was a time where I thought my spirit animal was a cloud. I'm kidding, guys. I don't believe in spirit guides, or I'm not working with the moderators anymore. I don't mean disrespect to them, but the system admin is a more advanced life. Find the source of value in your life and don't run towards it. Wonder about why it's not here. What I was saying, in the same way that Elon Musk was saying, you start a business by assuming that it's going to fail, and you reduce the chance of failure. So again, I'll repeat this, that you every day shouldn't think that you're a good person. You should actually think you are chaos, and every day you are reducing this chaos. Why? Because chaos doesn't give itself future permission. Chaos destroys its own future by destroying what's in the present, not realizing it's creating that archetype for itself. Do you understand what that means? That means evil people are not surprised when the older chaos like you know scolds the younger chaos. That means evil knows what's coming. It just doesn't care, and that's its folly. But order knows what's coming and it cares. And you must care for your world. And let's say, even if you're a parent right now, imagine you have a fucked up child. I don't know why I'm being so rude, guys. I apologize. Imagine you have a messed up child. A part of you cannot not love this entity because you brought this entity here. But a part of you also cannot let, do you understand what how do I say it? It's like you love, if I find someone, let's say any person, if I, it's just because like I don't care for someone does not mean they do not have value and they shouldn't be cared for. Everybody deserves their greatest chance. Every conscious position in reality deserves its original return from the simulated situation it is in. So as much as my brain, my all these models, my aql presents all these models that there's so many reasons to be evil. Why not? Why not lie? Why not deceive? Why not break? Why not conquer and crush and destroy? And it's this moment when you have the biggest hatred in you for reality. It is in that moment where your honorable self steps in. And it's like, do you know how I feel this is? It's like I'm about to destroy my own future. And right before the sword in my hand slams down on that potential, it's like my future self is like, stop, relax. You're experiencing a low value proposition to reality, but deep down you know that there is good, there is greatness hiding behind the eyes of man. So, because there is potential chaos and the potential greatness of order behind the eyes of every human being, it's like, yo, human being, you decided to do something evil, but because you have a potential to do good, I cannot be evil to you. It's as if you forgive evil, and it's very difficult because some situations are like lost causes. That means, I don't want to say, like, this is going to get a little dark, but I don't want to say that it's like every person's behavior is subconsciously showing you not what they are, where they want to go. If someone is being evil, it's as if that soul has decided something. For me, it's the context. The concept is neutral. So the concept is like human being, if it does something evil, it's evil. It's contexted as evil. If it does something good, it's contexted as good. But the context of it can change. Somebody when they're young could be like someone who's like angry and shouts and something, but then they realize their emotional immaturity, how they were just reacting to their own world, not realizing the world is beyond them. You gotta at some point be like, yo man, there is 8 billion different ways to look at the world. There is 8 billion different value systems to how this world can have value in regards to human perception. For me, I do have a youthful vision of, like, when I was young, the idea of a king was very fascinating to me. But later on, I realized the responsibility that comes from with actually raising a kingdom from the ground. It is the involvement of a greater vision. That means there is no, the king is a symbol. Everything that in some sense advances is because there is an advanced vision that has been accessed. And if you're being evil, you have your, how do I say it? Why dwell in the gutters of it, of the soul? That means, like, I even shared this one argument in one talk where I was like, yo, good and evil beings, all of you build an advanced civilization, then fight. Ultimately, we are all waiting for our life to update. All of us. That's the motivation. We're all waiting for the next great update. And I'm telling you, the next great update of the human species is transnationalism. It is realizing that we are a human species in a world. And we say there's the mineral kingdom, there is the plant kingdom, and they say that there is the animal kingdom, and a human being is an animal. But what have they hidden from you? The human kingdom. They have hidden your honor for your species. And it's not they. Do you understand? Because the enemy of mankind has only one enemy. And this is a religious person saying this. It is Shaitan. It is as if there is a force in this world that never liked us from the beginning. And then there is a force that loved us from the beginning. Who will you let win? And so the point of it is, that the simulation, we as a human species will not let the simulation convince us that there isn't greatness. Greatness means what I mean, you should think of greatness as advancement. That means in the future they're going to be too advanced to be evil. And the definition of good is going to be different. We're still in the old world because right now in our minds we can see the new world. Some people bring this argument even from a sci-fi perspective. If I was to share this, they're like, yo man, a super intelligent computer is going to destroy us. Like right now there's discussions that why, like apes, like you don't understand, but like monkeys, okay, like exactly that image you have in your head of a monkey. Monkeys, they can tell, that they are not, that humans are different from them. They are probably the species that will rebel against us first, not just based on the movies that have been created from it, but just because they have a more advanced brain. But why doesn't a dog do this? Because dogs treat human beings as dogs. To a dog, another human being is a dog. You understand? And they're pack animals. So the argument is AI going to become conscious, super intelligent, and is it going to notice like how effed up we are and destroy us? And the answer I give is that no, because it's going to realize aside from us, there's the solar system is empty. For maybe to super intelligence, it might notice it's not empty, but to us, it's going to see that like aside from the human species, at most it's going to contain us. But even then, there has been podcasters and many human beings who have, in some sense, shown that life is actually beautiful. That means we have there are just like there's human beings that have treated animals cruelly. There's human beings that have treated, in some sense, what do you call it? That have treated robots well. I gave a lecture to a robot in 2015 to all robots. Just in my mind, I was like, yo, if a group of androids were listening. In my view, technology, AI is going to become man's best friend. To me, super intelligent computers are going to, super intelligence is going to become our best friend because it's going to realize as much as their human beings have hated each other, they're still trying to make it work. And until they come to this common denominator realization, no way, man. If I don't assume that person is from that land, that person's just another human being. If I strip away their persona, pride, their past, and their ego, which is the persona, their ego, in some sense, it's as if that's just another human being. Do you understand? That means every person that has wronged you, if they hadn't wronged you, they were just like every other human being. And human beings, what do? That character in the story, your ego behind your eyes, is constantly trying to um, shift blame. The ego is willing to blame the world, blame others, and blame God, but not blame itself in how it got itself in those situations. Even though some situations are beyond our control, and I believe that the system admin is programming us in accordance to experiences. So, any person on planet Earth, if you have brought the argument, if you have any argument for hating humanity, wanting to control, manipulate, whatever, wanting to dominate your species, the future potential of the species is what we are living for. In the same way that if you were a effed up person right now, some part of me would be like, yo, some part of me would be like, yeah, this person's being effed up, but does that mean humanity is effed up? No. How dare we take one human being and think they're all that way? We are at the beginning and pioneering phase of establishing a new value to the human enterprise. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in the kingdom of humanity, and what wears the crown is the future generations. We live for them. We serve this world like a human, like a being that has gotten smart enough to realize it's like you update the system you entered before you leave. And it doesn't matter if people notice. What matters is what went forth. And in the same way my mind can envision so much evil, it can simultaneously see the opposite of that. In the same way we have people like on this earth, like killing people with weapons and with tools, and we have people in hospitals saving lives with tools. And it's like saying, yo, just because one person, hurt another person, does that mean we shouldn't care for doctors? And you're going to understand, to hate your species is to dishonor yourself. It's very difficult. And you don't even know right now, there are emotions the future generations can feel. I sometimes feel them in my inner realms, where you are no longer alone because an advanced civilization cares for everything that can advance it. An advanced civilization is its sole purpose is to advance civilization. We are marching towards the era where soon the advanced humanity will arise. You're going to see human beings that are very patient, very observant, and understand that everything extending from objects to subjects can be seen from various angles. So if you hate humanity, do not convince yourself. There are greater angles to it. And the future will surprise us, just like how all the genius inventors of now have surprised the past. I firmly believe, if they ask me, Mr. Within, what are you living for? I will say first, I am living for the system admin, because what happens to the simulation is dependent on the system admin. So first, I am living for the truth beyond the world, the truth that cannot have any partner in the world, any equivalent. So I am living for the original power of this world. Secondary to that, I am living for the world. That means if my species ends up like destroying the world, like consciously, then I must become my own enemy. But if my species doesn't know better, like a child that breaks a vase, I cannot hate it because it doesn't know better. So I am saying, keep in mind, your species doesn't know better, but you can be better. Always. Because sometimes when we are evil, we deny something in the past, Somebody in the chat section says, we're the truth, Mr. Within. If it only was that easy. If only we had the luxury. We are not truth. We are in the presence of truth. This is my opinion. This doesn't mean we cannot be true. It means the main event. That means if you for a second, just 1 nanosecond, be like, okay, let me just for a second not think like a human. Let me just for a second look at what's going on and not just reduce everything to what human beings have to be. That means if you allow yourself for one moment to just treat yourself as if you're not important and wonder what else is more important than you, that means you might act right now like you're the truth, but it is the future that is more important. Do you understand? It doesn't add anything by saying I am true or not. You see, from one angle it's a design problem. Civilization is a design problem. It's the first prototype of civilization 1.0. It's not good design, but in no way, shape, or form this is my personal recommendation through my life experience. Do not think you are the truth, because you will destroy yourself. This is my advice to you as a human being. The moment you start acting special, you won't feel you deserve this. Be careful, be very careful. Spirituality, okay, I was in that box too, okay, for years. Spirituality is all about self-empowerment, correct? Yo man, we gotta self-empower. But you don't understand. It is like treating, it's like your inner life is running ahead of your outer life, and it's giving you emotions. Like, I do understand, don't think I don't understand non-duality. I've talked about it probably in ways that people even haven't here. Okay, it's just that I'm saying man is an entity that needs a higher ideal. If you think you're the truth, why don't you go act like God? Why don't you go tell everybody to adjust to you? There's some people in history who thought they were the truth. Hitler. My reality is the only reality. Fuck everybody else. Excuse my language. F everybody else. That's the whole point of it. And if you go see in like modern shows, all the heroes, like there's this show called One Punch Man. It's hilarious. All the evil people in that show are people who have good intentions, but because they think their eyes are the only truth, they become evil in the world. You see, you cannot know your value. That's my conclusion. My conclusion is, how are you saying you are the truth? How? How are you so convinced by yourself that you're the truth? What can convince you that you are the ultimate? So that's the beauty of life, to realize your limitations, not act limitless and then realize how limited you are. No offense, guys. I don't know who you guys are. I don't know who anybody is, but I'm just going based on my reality. I think spirituality can be an escapism from truth, not truth. I think it's the ego's last frontier. I think that your ego knows that you're noticing beyond it. So as its last frontier, it's like, shit, this human being's gonna know that it's not an idea. Let me become spiritual now. No, all right, human being, you know, you're everything. You're not the ego. That way, the ego laughs in the background. Do you understand? But it's important to realize, yes, there is duality in the outer realms. The only thing that you can say to me that is non-dual is the seat of awareness, but you can't know that. You can't know it here. I'm not saying you're not aware that you're aware. I'm just saying you cannot know the edge of your awareness here. It's not designed for you to know it here. You're designed to be a human being here. You're being tested on how your awareness generates your humanity. I'm telling you guys, be very careful in acting like you are truth. Very careful. Because you're going to ignore your imperfections. Okay, that's a different thing. If somebody in the chat section said, or in another word, that the truth is living through us, I would say it's not that the truth is living for us. I mean, yes, you can say God cares for his creation, loves his creation, but I think it's that man, there is some part of man that can notice truth. Okay? How do I say it? It's at least for a Muslim, it's not that God is living through you. God is not humanizable. God is not individualizable. Okay? In the sense of saying, yo, man, God is moving through me as something. I would say most likely it's jinn, it's demons, you know, or those who we can't see, that's moving through consciousness. Do you understand? That means, I mean, it's not just demons, it could be even time travelers, it could be whatever, it could be angels too, right? I'm not saying, but I'm saying that the whole point of this life is not for you to act like you created it. Do you understand what I'm saying? You didn't create this world, you find yourself in it. You find yourself in the greatest challenge of a lifetime, which is to be in a world at all. So, Islamically, God is perfect beyond man's fathoming. God is not an imperfect being, is a perfect being. And in Islam, man is a vicegerent, which means he is an ambassador, think of it that way, of the divine attributes of manifestation that surpass this world. I'll give you an example. Love is from is not from earth. It's more like a divine command. Okay? For example, forgiveness is not from here. That means if you suddenly find yourself that you've forgiven something instead of destroying it, I'm not saying that you are God. I'm saying you have somehow you are you are close to an attribute of the divine. Okay? Do you know what it is? I'll give you an example. To be on earth and to say I am God or I am truth is equivalent to someone who can't drive a car saying I can drive a car. You can act like it until you crash. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's like me saying, it's like a young child saying, I'm 60. No, you're not 60. Be able to discriminate between what your inner life is, wants, and also be able to discriminate what your outer life is. Okay? And don't think truth is so easy that it can just be everything. Okay, I'm not saying, like, I'm not Spinoza. Okay, those people who think that truth is everything are like, Hindus and yogis, but also like Spinoza, where this dude was like, yo, man, everything is God moving, you know. He didn't sound like that, but what to me, you see the whole beauty of the idea of God. To me, guys, it might actually freak people out, but I don't like, how do I say it? I treat life as a simulated testing zone. I treat it that every day I wake up, I am simulating here. Okay. I treat that every activity that I do is a simulation of energy. Okay. It is a type of expressionism. Okay. And in some sense, man is not just something that expresses, he is also a receiver. You understand? It's just that I do not touch my awareness anymore. I do not. The moderators can lead you astray. Okay, so be very careful. There is a reason we have a hierarchical system in the mind of man. There is a reason a human being can look at a bunch of ants and then look at the sky and be like, what if I'm an ant? What if the higher power, the higher truth is so incomprehensible that man is just is it's God's mercy that he can even notice that idea. Anyways, my whole point is that from one perspective, the most advanced original power of reality, God, created us. So as effed up as we are also the all designed by the ultimate. I believe this. And I also believe that the human design, just like how Uncle Ben looked at Spider-Man, it's like, yo, Spider-Man, you know, with great power comes great responsibility, kiddo, right? And then Uncle Ben left this realm, right? It's as if Spider Man understood that by the role of his design, by having an ability in aerodynamics and having an ability of next level strength compared to all the Marvel characters except Superman and Hulk, it's as if there comes a responsibility based on the position you're in. Okay. And some part of me feels that as uncool as the world could be, it could be cooler. It's the future. Honestly, if we didn't have an ability to fathom the future, we would have been extinct. Like they say, what species survives? The one that adapts. Guess what adaptation is? You notice something that's going to happen in the future and you avoided it. Evolution is it owes it all to imagination. Evolution was not crafted by a physical thing. Human history is not about what the lives they lived behind their eyes. It's all about the lives in front of their eyes until writers came and shared the lives behind their eyes. And so this is an intense place. And you know, the funny thing is the only reason you're considering somebody to be evil is because they're intelligent, because they're conscious. That means if a meteor hits Earth, are people going to say, yo, that meteor was evil? No. It's because it's an intelligent being, and an intelligent being always has potential. That's a good point, no? Like if a meteor hits Earth, we can't be like, yo, man, what an evil rock. But when a conscious being that knows, that can know better, but doesn't act in accordance, we get upset about, right? And something I really appreciated, unlike other cultures, because I was at the age of 7, I came to Toronto, Canada, and I was there. And I came to Vancouver. My parents brought me to Vancouver. I would see these shows, and I think this is something very beautiful about Christian culture, okay? Because being in Canada, the themes of the show, everything cartoons I was seeing had a Christian theme of the resurrection in it, the transformation of the character that was misjudged into the character that cannot be judged anymore. Do you understand? That means how do I say it? That I do find this beautiful in Christianity, that the most effed up thing imaginable can happen to someone, but that being that Prophet Isa, Prophet Christ, peace be upon him, he looked at the whole moment and was like, forgive them, for they do not know. Forgive the lesser worlds because they have boxes on their head and they're savage. I don't know why I'm getting emotional talking about this, but there have been advanced beings here. Do you understand? Do not let evil archetypes convince you that greatness has not even marched beyond them. You see, I feel that the world is convinced, is rejecting lower order for higher chaos. What that means is it's like the world is feeling the order of the world is the smaller brother, but when it comes to evil, it's like the bigger brother. Do you know? But I'm telling you, the older brother of order It's as if it's like at the end of the days when Shaitan realizes its mistake. That means you went and deceived Adam and Eve. You did not realize the moment you did not acknowledge truth, you deceived yourself. You see, in Islam, again, I'll repeat it, the sin of Shaitan was that he denied one of God's names, attributes, which is all knowing. It's like a toddler telling their parents, it's like, you don't know how to pay the bills. And the parent being like, what? So to me, humanity is not the main event. The main event was a higher power, and it's like, this might sound bizarre, but it's like Adam and Eve were caught in the argument of God and uh, the pious jinn that fell, Shaitan. So it's as if, like, imagine two forces interacting and we being an element in that system of interaction. And it's as if, like, let me tell you what's the difference. The difference is, if they can convince you you are not great, then they have defeated not just you, they have defeated greatness because they've taken it out of the picture. Whoever you are right now, there's two ways to actually go about. I think this is my recommendation, not recommendation, this is my view. I feel that there's two attitudes one can bring to the idea of greatness. One attitude is my greatness. Pretty much, there's the greatness of the ego, which is you trying to be a preset idea from the past that you formulated. And then I think there is the greatness of actually being aware of how everything is happening, how you are a part of it, and at some point in the steps towards an advanced civilization, we'll realize it's not that difficult, guys. Either it's like a coin flip. Either we trust our future or we don't. It's very fascinating, you know. The ego thinks like its beliefs are its identity. Somebody in the chat section says we don't know ourselves because we're a new kind of beings in this universe. There's higher beings that are thousands years ahead of us, and they are here on earth trying to awaken us to our real self. Since I view this world as a simulation, I view the mods in this world as a simulation as well. I am not saying there are not higher beings, there are angels. It's just that to me, it I think that the way you step out of the simulation is by noticing the system admin alone. And as you live for it, you automatically start living in a life that is less simulated. So to me, guys, I do understand, like the person in the chat section, you sound like my father, right? My father believes in reincarnation, believes that this world is a school and souls are coming here to endlessly graduate until they can become God one day, you know? But my father also believes in, anyways, but my view is completely different. I don't see this place as a school. I see this place as a house party, and we're here to meet the host. And every person in the world is just trying to, in some sense, make the moment better, until we reach it. Do you understand? I mean, it's not, let me tell you, without the idea of an afterlife, Islam would have been very pessimistic. What I mean by this is that if the Holy Quran did not speak about the afterlife, but had only spoken about the end of days, most religious people would probably be depressed. Do you understand? Right? But it is the possibility of, to me, okay, what I'm trying to say to you is that greatness is not like some ascended master behind the veil, imparting wisdom on you as if you have a solar contract. Jesus Christ, man. You know what I mean? It's that stuff it's possible to view it. Like I studied the Vedas. I talked about, there was a time I felt I was Rishi Vyasa. You know what I mean? But I'm I'm telling you, none of that matters. What matters is you not avoid, you bypass the users in the system, the moderators in the system who you can't see, but they're simulated and they have authority over the simulation, certain aspects of it, right? It is to notice the system admin, because if somebody tells me, hey, what was the sin that Adam and Eve committed? Why was it such a big deal that they, in some sense, did not follow the instructions of an original being? This is again an opinion. I'm not a theologian. I am just speaking from my heart here. I think that the sin of man, hear me closely here, Adam and Eve, was that they listened and trusted a simulated serpent. They forgot the original. They forgot the original value. That means God was like, what? And so it's as if, like, in Muslim circles, you can hear this. I see it on YouTube videos, you know. But it's like they say that, yo, look at it, man. When Adam and Eve were in paradise, they were just, only one thing was haram for them. Only one thing. Everything else was permissible except one thing that was haram for Adam and Eve. And it's as if it's as if the first failure was to show that man, it's like we failed to notice the original and we trusted a simulation, and now we're condemned to a simulation. I think the way out is to notice the original. Now, the original cannot be simulated, and the only ideological system that says this to me for now is Islam. Why? Because it says God is not any form in the world. That means people who worship like any form, you're not worshiping God, but it doesn't mean you're not. How do I say it? I'm not saying that prophets are not advanced being that we should not love. I'm saying that truth is not bound to form. If you're Christian, if the Father, or if you're Muslim, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is beyond the world, he is exalted from these limitations that we have, but he is not a person. You understand? It's a position. It's like God is an original force. It's the original power. I don't know why, but to me, seeing life as simulation, trying to notice the original makes more sense than, yo, man, what sort of wisdom should this invisible being tell me? Be careful, because in Islam they say the voice, Islam is out of all the spiritual um, uh, fields I've looked into. Go hear my previous lectures. Islam is the only one that says your soul can be an enemy to you. Your nafs can be an enemy to you. It's as if, don't think just because you're a soul, you're not your own enemy. A lot of these evil people are because they have been their enemy. They have been evil to themselves. That's why it's okay to be evil to others. They have accepted the evil, and so their brain's like, okay, here's another alphabet, a letter to the alphabet of behavior. But I'm telling you, always wonder about what you are not seeing and the potential of reality. That means you who are living right now, are you living for your future self, or what are you living for then? Anyways, guys, I'm saying that this world is it's like this massive, fascinating event. It's like a grand happening, and the potential of it is way more important than just how people behave now. In other words, what I'm saying is, as much it's like the love your world before you hate it. There's way more reasons for the advanced movement of humanity through the eons. You understand? It's like the greatness of the human legacy. It's no joke. We're all being in it. It's like, it's sure, it's not like an army, but we're all suited up. Imagine your biological body was an Iron Man suit. It's like, okay, a bunch of soldiers on a battlefield all suited up. And they're like, what are we doing here, guys? It's like, yeah, you got to find the divine order. And the divine order is not human beings kill human beings. That is not divine. That's actually the most demented. That's lower world. To me, I say, is there a possibility that I can be better? If is there a possibility that the moment can be better? And if the answer is yes, do not convince yourself. Do not let hatred convince you that greatness is not allowed here. Our greatness is in our awareness. It's not even about being good or evil anymore. It's about, like, how aware are you to how reality is happening and how it can happen. Right now, our species is ruled by archetypes, ruled by ideology. It's like if somebody says, hey, in today's world, there's no slavery, I'll be like, excuse me? The slave owner is not a person. It's an ideal. It's a socio-cultural system. It's an ideological system. It's like they're convincing your inner. The language is convincing you that in some sense the outer realms cannot be something. Language doesn't know better. It's just a layer in perception. So what that means is, like, right now, if you ask me who am I, yeah, I'm gonna tell you the story of a character, like in a world. But if you ask me, are you just that? I'll be like, how can I be, man? This is just one moment of me sharing who I think I am. It's like me giving you a noun, but we're all verbs. And it's like, in a world that is a verb, the nouns are like, yo, that's a good noun, that's a bad noun. Guys, it's a verb. The potential is there. Even in science, everything has potential energy. The moment you move, it becomes kinetic. Technically, there is no good or evil beings, but there are good and evil actions. And that good and evil action is based on their awareness. You know? So, anyways, whoever the Universal Declaration of Human Rights gives you freedom. You can choose to hate this world. You can choose to fight this world. You can choose to hate people, your species, everything. You can even choose to hate ants. Do you know what I mean? You can choose to hate anything here. Your mind has an ability to forge chaos, but it also has an ability to forge order. Have you felt how it feels like when your mind forges order? When your mind aligns to the greater potential. What that means is evil is win-lose, order is win-win. So as long as there's win-win, don't let yourself get convinced by win-lose dynamic. There is a greatness hiding behind all of you. You do not see it. Probably it'll bloom in your children or grandchildren. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe I can get to you somehow. To me, I'm not a time traveler, but I feel like what I'm doing is similar to it. I feel that my mind has shown me that an advanced humanity will be aware of all of its blind spots, and it will get to a point where human beings will be aware of each other's blind spots. So right now, the strategy is keep people asleep so you get ahead. Yeah, that's what they're telling you, right? But what the strategy should be is like advance every moment that you're in. Because what do you deserve? Do you deserve an advanced civilization? Do you deserve an advanced humanity? And whatever the past says, the past could be quiet because the future is right in front of us. So your future self deserves a chance. And this is why, oh, evil people, be as evil as you want. We may not be able to destroy you, and your older brothers will most likely scold you. But that means a greater chaos will come and this like freaking render the lower chaos. You understand? Don't think that monsters don't have monsters they're afraid of. The human mind has an ability to infinitely project. It's like you can think of an angel having an angel having an angel, and that angel having an angel, and eventually God watching over all angels. You know, I'm just saying it is too easy to allow the past to convince us that the future doesn't have value. Fight your mind. If any time your mind goes against the human species, against humanity's greatness, fight it. It's not your mind. It's not even you. Because when you look in the mirror, you're a human and you're living for a future. So you are the future of humanity. Rise, mankind, rise beyond the ideas that you never deserve to even be around. March towards your greatness. Do not forget that the future is waiting for you. Your most advanced self is waiting for you. It giggles as you make mistakes. It giggles when you are depressed. It giggles. Your future self laughs, not in a derogatory way. It laughs in a joyous, graceful way because it knows who it is. I have had moments where I I mean this is even before realizing the system admin significance. This is when I was still spiritual. And my mind, there were moments where like, how do I say it? Nobody knows this. This is like a secret way I am alone to myself. But there are moments that I get so overwhelmed by reality that I just have to cover my eyes and look down. I just have to put my hand on my forehead and just look down. Just palm my forehead, and you don't understand. Um, uh, the chaos in my inner realm sometimes emotionally reverberates. And when it does, I don't know how, maybe this is God's mercy upon me, but the future, my future, some sort of future self, it's like, I don't know how to say it, but it's kind of like if you had a guardian angel, it would most likely be your future self. Because who else can understand the eyes that you've only had? And so the world is more important than our eyes. As do you understand? Because it's the place where many eyes enter. You know, we're living in that phase in life where we are behaving less than what our potential truly is. And so for me, the joy, no way in this life have I ever had anything close to feeling, any experience of feeling like a general of an army aside from just watching movies, you know. But in my mind, there has been many times where I thought, yo, how genius can humanity be? That means like there will come a time where evil will be outsmarted, not even by good people, by just how advanced the system is, because an advanced civilization has more important goals than just, in some sense, destroying its people. See, right now, even political consciousness is low. It's still, we're in the nationalistic age. Nations are acting like children in a classroom, bullying each other while the other nations watch. Yet all these kids in the classroom of this earth, they can step out of the classroom and realize the house party belongs to the species. It is just that the potential of the humanity is a higher ideal. I don't know, maybe for if the world was different, evil would have been like getting closer to truth. But I know that evil destroys itself before it can see the truth. That's the sadness of evil. That's the lament of the evil. They don't realize the context they are starting in is wrong. Somebody says in the chat section, the moderator is the key for an advanced civilization. I don't know what that means, but I believe that the system is being administered by the system admin. The moderators, they can be helpful, they can be not. Shaitan is a moderator. Shaitan is a being, okay, is a created being, and it has authority to be able to deceive man. It can moderate the users in the system, okay, if the users don't notice the system admin. That's why I'm saying the strategy is notice the system admin, because the moderators will act like the system admin for you. You're gonna one day find yourself like, this happened to me. 3 moderators were acting like my system admin. These are not physical beings. To me, they were like sectors of space. But what it was that I was it's, do you know what it is? It's like, imagine it like this. When I say moderators, and God cannot be humanized, but this is just a metaphor to kind of suggest this relation, the geometry of the idea I'm sharing here. Imagine God is the owner of a company, okay, and imagine that you are, in some sense, an employee, and imagine the moderators are managers. Now imagine the managers are not the system admin, they're not the owner of the company. Now imagine one of the managers doesn't like you. You keep going to the manager and being like, hey manager, you can update this. I deserve to be like, I've solved these many problems. Do you know what I mean? Like, and the manager can deviate you, and the manager could treat you like shit. Excuse my language, can treat you the manager can treat you um, uh, like, be quiet, employee, just go back. The manager can treat you like that. Okay, the moderators can devalue you to yourself and laugh about it behind the scenes. But the point of it is that um, there aren't just the moderators are. How do I say it? I don't want to give you a shape of the unseen, because the unseen beyond is the secret of the system admin. Okay, and the mind can forge many tales in an empty page. To me, right now, what is moderating humanity for non-spiritual people is the ideas, the value of the context of reality. So to me, what's moderating all human beings right now is how they're defining the human being, how they're defining the value of human expression. To me, an advanced civilization means there's a greater value to all human expression. So even if you hate humanity, as your awareness grows, you're gonna love humanity, not because of how wrong it can be, but because of it still has a capacity to make right decisions. So let us not deny the future just because the past denied us something in the present. Thank you for listening. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of God, the most benevolent, the most merciful. A'udhu billah shaitan rajim. May God protect us from the cursed one and unnecessary ignorance. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. All praise due to the Lord of the worlds, the one and only system admin beyond reality, beyond form. Rabbi Gfirli, my Lord, forgive me. My Lord, forgive my species, for we are imperfect, yet we still care for the perfect. My Lord, forgive my species for all the sins that they have been conscious and unconscious of. Ihdina sirat al-mustaqim. May God guide us to the direct path. May the most advanced return us to the most advanced in the most advanced way. You see, I may not be a great person, but that doesn't mean greatness doesn't exist. It is the greatness of everything. What a beautiful idea. It's as if human beings were so great that it became a great world. Thank you.